The trade deadline is over, and my goodness, that was wild. It was crazy to see the market react on Sorare, and in this video, we'll take a look at who moved, who didn't, and look at some opportunities to add to those galleries. All right, let's go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Eric, and this is NFTY Sports, and I'm excited to be here for the weekly episode. That deadline was insane. We got KD teaming up with my boy D-Book on the Suns. We got Luka and Kyrie. We got Jay Crowder to Milwaukee, and a whole lot more. We'll zoom in full screen in just a second, but let me know down in the comments what you have as the best trade or what you have as the best value on the marketplace as a result of this year's trade deadline. I'll choose one of those comments and the winner gets this birch on next week's video. Last thing is shout out to Pat Bev, who's probably going crazy after being traded to Orlando. I'll pull a page out of his book and say, subscribe to the pod, meaning subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out. It's absolutely free. That's unless you'd like to contribute financially, which I would really appreciate. Also, I actually just made that an option after having the channel for almost a year and a half now, putting out consistent content on sports NFTs, just like Sorare NBA. I'll continue to do a weekly video. I'll also do live streams for Sorare MLB, also do some fantasy football stuff coming up in the fall. Can't wait to do that. If not, no worries. But if it's something that you can afford to do, I would really appreciate the help. The more love I get, the more love I'll give back in terms of giveaways and stuff like that for subscribers and also paid members of the channel. We also have an awesome Discord community building by the day. If you want to hang out during the week, you can find that link down below in the description. All right, let's zoom in. All right, you guys, the first ever trade deadline on Sorare NBA, it was absolutely insane. The market was going nuts on this thing. So I'm here on soraredata.com. What I did is I went to market. I went to completed offers, which will show you the sales. I browsed this thing 100 pages deep this morning, but if you want to take a look at it for yourself, just go to completed offers, change all sports, obviously, to basketball, hit filter, and then it will show you all of the activity that has gone on recently. But the action was absolutely crazy. D'Lo to the Lakers along with Malik Beasley, Vanderbilt. We'll take a look at some of those guys. Kyrie to Dallas with Luka, obviously. Podol out to Toronto. Kevin Durant to the Suns. Bridges and Cam Johnson to Brooklyn. Jay Crowder to Milwaukee. We got Josh Hart, Mike Muscala, Thomas Bryant, Cam Reddish, Thibault, Jalen McDaniels, George Hill, Bones Highland, Sadiq Bey, James Wiseman, Pat Beverly, Mo Bamba swap, Eric Gordon, Luke Kennard, Danny Green, Mason Plumlee, Justin Jackson, Josh Richardson, Gary Payton, Kevin Knox, Reggie Jackson, Birch. A bunch of movement, especially in the very last day of the trade deadline, which is why I wanted to wait before I made this video. Let's take a look at some of the big time movers. What I did here is I pulled up their Sorare data pages. What you can do is you can just go to soraredata.com, type the name of the player that you want into the top left search bar, click on it, and it'll bring up this nice chart here. You can see the last 10, the last 40, the season, and a lot of this will tell a story in terms of how the price action correlated on the market. What I did is I just filtered it out to 1 week right here, US dollars. So we're looking at this chart in US dollars before the trade, Devontae Graham from New Orleans to San Antonio. This card was going for $3.80. It got up to a high of $12.84. So basically 4x in value. This is a huge one. He's going to be playing a lot more over in San Antonio. So these are all going to change. The market probably will stabilize. You don't need to make any rash decisions, but you are on the early side of grabbing this one. Congratulations. Maybe you were able to flip it. Maybe you were able to keep it and play it in the next competition. That was a huge one. James Wiseman, also another one here, went from Golden State going to Detroit. This one was down at around $8, $9, $7 or so, got up to a very high of $21. So last 10 is at an 11, last 40 is at a 15, averaging out for the season of 12. We'll be going into Detroit little bit better potentially of a situation for him, which reacted to the price. A huge one. A lot of movement on centers, you guys. Mark Williams was a huge one. Okay. Mason Plumlee goes to the Clippers, and Mark Williams gets a huge price increase there. So $13 all the way up to about a $28. So that was a big one. Him, along with Nick Richards, did get another bump too. So more playing time over there for the centers in Charlotte. Birch was a smaller one. This is the giveaway this week. Okay. So it was down at $1. It popped up to about $5 as the max. I bought it at $3 as the giveaway. So just a small giveaway for you guys. But going from Toronto to San Antonio, he should get more playing time over there. He's going to be competing with Zach Collins, starting center over there. So he is day to day right now, but that could be kind of like a low cap guy to keep your eye on. There's a ton of these different situations right here. Guys are getting put into different positions where they're getting more minutes. Guys going from contenders to other contenders, non-contenders to playoff contenders, which is something that we talked about on the channel as well. Kevin Knox got a nice price bump. Also, he is started around $2 all the way up to $5.30. One of my guys that I liked wasn't doing too well or performing too well this part of the season in LA, goes over to another contender of Memphis, and he got a nice little price bump too. So I think I bought this card down at around the $2 range early on in the game. My card, it started to stable out at around $4 and then up to a price of $7.58. So Luke Kennard out there. As we're going through all of these, just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this type of thing going on. Let me know down in the comments what you think the best value is still available. I think some of the guys that were affected a little bit less, that we'll talk about a little bit later in the video in terms of price wise, guys who stayed stable may actually be the best opportunities on the board. I mean, I think about Kevin Durant going into Phoenix, and I just think about some of the big time games that hopefully Devin Booker is going to be able to have, getting a lot less attention from defenses over there. So Booker, one of my favorite players, actually my favorite player in the NBA. I have his card, bought it a long time ago, also gave one away here on the channel, but no price movement on that. And we'll take a look at some of the guys who stayed pretty flat given their trade situations and see how that kind of makes sense too. Guys like, Anthony Edwards, guys like D'Lo, they all stayed pretty flat when it comes down to it. So really interesting to take a look at these charts. Again, I filter it by the 1 week chart, by the US dollar, because that's the currency I'm most familiar with. So $3 on Baisley all the way up to $7.49. So basically doubling in price. Baisley goes from OKC, where he wasn't getting a ton of playing time. He's starting to get increased minutes, but he's going out to Phoenix, and they got rid of Saric out there. So that was a really weird chart to look at if you've seen that one. We got Michael Bridges in here going out to Brooklyn. Got a price bump. It seems to be coming back down a little bit also. Going to be kind of rough to see. It's going to be really interesting to see how Brooklyn finishes off the season, who's getting all the playing time, who's getting the fantasy points on that end. So Thomas Bryant, another one, going from around a $11, $10 range up to $17 here. Going to be playing alongside the Joker out in Denver. Gary Payton back to the Dubs from the Blazers. He's familiar with them. They're familiar with him. So maybe he has a good little run at it here while Steph is out, particularly. Bones Highland coming in to the LA Clippers. That got a nice little price bump up to the $25 mark. This one was sitting around 17 before the deadline. And yeah, so he's going to be coming in off the bench, playing guard for the Clippers. We'll see how he does in that situation alongside Kawhi, Paul George. Definitely a talented player, young guy. We'll see how it goes in that situation. Jalen McDaniels going from Charlotte to Philly. Price jumped a little bit, but not as much as others. We'll see how that situation works out for him over there. Sadiq Bey going to Atlanta. This guy was going crazy. Maybe that affects somebody like a Bojan Bogdanovic, who did not end up getting moved, surprisingly. It will be interesting to see what the Hawks are able to put together going into the playoffs after the All-Star break here. So Sadiq Bey, solid player, going to Atlanta. And then Thibault going out to Portland. That got a big price jump too. This one was down at 603. I also gave one of these cards away earlier on the channel to about $10. So almost doubling in price there. He should help out Portland on the defensive end for sure. And again, now let's pop into some guys who didn't have much of a value change at all. We can see some different looking kind of charts here. Maybe take a look at D'Lo. D'Lo stayed pretty flat. Okay. $23, around the 23 to the $17 range, up, down, right around that $20 mark. Okay. Anthony Edwards has no price action really either. So from the $62 range, pretty steady, right around that 60. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of change. Those trades didn't really affect that. Bojan, a little bit of movement, a little bit more volume than a guy like Edwards or Booker, which we'll look at in a second. But Bojan, there was probably a lot of speculative buying in here. Looks like the price went from around like 11, got up towards, this $12 range or so. But yeah, Bogdanovic did not get moved. Mason Plumlee coming into LA, coming into the Clippers. Will be interesting to see how he plays over there, how he shares time with a guy like Zubac. Price did move a little bit, but mostly stable. So Plumlee was one that a lot of people knew were on the market. Maybe they prepared ahead of time, made some buys. I was kind of always eyeing his rare card at around the $60 range, but, decided not to go with it. Pretty happy that I didn't do that. So you can also change these, by the way, to the rare tier or whatever tier that you want to look at. So I've been looking at the limited tiers so far. Ayton stays flat. Devin Booker stays flat. No volume. There's not a lot of auctions and no auctions on the marketplace as of now for Booker from what I'm aware of, but he is back and healthy, and I'm excited for him to be back and healthy because he was typically my MVP along with Ant Edwards, along with guys like Zach LaVine. So hopefully he can get me some more wins in that limited competitions. Kyrie pretty much stays the same, clumped around right here. He did take a hike when he got traded. He went up north of $71, but is back down to around the $52 range. And a big question mark, of course, is Russell Westbrook, who has just a ton of activity going on in the past couple of days with his sales. This is all within the past week, just an insane amount of sales. Who knows where this guy will end up? You're hearing different things out there from the media about potentially going to a place like Miami or a place like LA Clippers or something like that. We'll see. Clippers also got Eric Gordon too, so that might not be where he ends up. But hey, we'll see where Russ ends up. He still obviously can score, but seems like it won't be for the Utah Jazz. One last time, just go into the settled offers history. You can do that by finding the market completed offers, and that's how you find basically everything that's going on minute by minute on Sorare. That's the last thing I'll talk about. Make sure you know to use this as a tool. Before we end it up here, I will go into the NFTY Sports League and do a update on where we're at. I put those out on Twitter. I will also be opening it up as soon as I'm allowed to for more users. We're capped at 100 users right now. It is a full league. So as soon as that changes, I'll let you guys know. All right, we're sitting here on the live portion of game week 32, and I have one good opportunity. If I can get an improved score from Zach LaVine today, then I can get up into that limited champion winner right there. LaMelo kind of sold this week. A couple other guys kind of sold this week, so I didn't have a great one. A learning lesson here is always set a lineup, right? If you have the players, even if you have to put somebody in there that's going to get you a 0, you do have a chance of scoring. That's what I did with the rare contender. For those of you who have kind of been following my So Rare NBA journey here. Like I'm just getting into the rare competition. So a lot of the times I spend mostly on limited competitions, but for rares, I've been doing a little bit more on a budget. I've won most of these guys. So I won the Oh no, I actually bought the Fred VanVleet. I won this Vooch. Vooch has been going insane. So I thought, why not throw a couple of guys in here that have big time score potential? So I put Vooch in there thinking that, yeah, he could get me upwards of 70, 80 points. Same with Fred VanVleet. If I get a 70 and an 80 from one of those guys, maybe then I get 150. And then I can kind of round it out with some points. But what happened here is, this Neto that I bought for like $15 or something like that one week, who's been not playing a ton, but has had a couple of solid performances for me, ends up putting up a 43. And a guy like Robin Lopez ends up getting in there with some garbage time and getting 9 points. Archie Diacono, I knew wasn't going to play. So I knew that one was going to be a 0, but that was a $5 rare card that I basically just stuck in there so that I can fit both Vooch and Fred in there without an MVP card. So the rare champion is just too difficult for me right now with the budget that I'm working on in those rares. So that's why I decided to make it work on the contender. And look, I almost got it done, but unfortunately, Fred VanVleet with 34 wasn't quite enough. If he gets me up in that 40, 50 point range, then I'd be cashing out a rare card right here. Here's the NFTY Sports League. And like I said, 100 members in this one right here. I will do a Twitter post with all of those going on. I'll do a Twitter post tomorrow with the chart that I usually do. I'll tag you in it. If you end up in this league on the top of the charts, make sure that you look out on Twitter, tag me or comment on there, and then I'll tag you in the next time that you get up on that list. So common contender, my lineup's doing pretty sweet. I'm 3rd out of 74th in the NFTY Sports League. Going to be opening up a limited tier 1. Sorry, a common tier 1. So nice games. Wiggins, McCollum, Brooke Lopez, Braun, and Trey Mann. All right, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'll be back next week with another weekly video. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think the best trade was or the best value on the market as a result of the NBA trade deadline. Good luck in game week 32, 33, 34. Come hang out in the Discord. I can't wait for baseball season. It's just around the corner now. I'll have a bunch of content on that too. I'll see you on the next one soon.